Hello, my name is James Fisher, and welcome aboard the Good Ship Footprint for episode 4 of Boatwriter Radio, a podcast documenting my journey as a liveaboard screenwriter as I advance from cabin boy to captain and navigate my way to Hollywood. Cue the funky music and the video intro if you're watching on YouTube, because my friend Sam Husband messaged me and said, "You're a video guy. Where is the funky video intro?" Thanks, Sam. Gonna have to go record that now. So, the sun has set on a beautiful day in Cardiff Bay, and here we are for another episode of Boatwriter Radio. And you're still here. Wow. And we got up to 30 subscribers on week 4. It's going well. Let's get to 40. That'd be awesome. A lot has happened this week. Got a lot to pack in. I imagine I will forget 2 or 3 things. I have got notes, but sometimes I just ignore them, and I've got my key points, but I just ignore them and I go off on a little ramble, and then I look back and I go, oh, okay, that part is never going to be documented because that's now gone and it's late and it's bedtime. First of all, boat updates for the week, and we're going to start with one of my favourite topics, ablutions. They're important. Ablutions are important. So, with this particular ablution, I've always been a regular 2-a-day man. I have my breakfast, and then I get cracking. I'm very, very thorough. Set me up for the day. And then bedtime comes around, and however tired I am, whatever's going on, I've always been taught, do it again then, and that's what I do. Teeth brushing is, of course, what I'm referring to, and I've never failed to brush my teeth. I'm a good boy. I keep those pearly whites, well, as pearly white as I can keep them, given how much tea I drink and how much chocolate I consume. But it has taken me 5-6 weeks to get that habit back, and there have been whole days, 2 days, and I'm literally running my tongue over my teeth and going, oh, they're furry. And then I think, wait a minute, it's been like nearly 2 days and I haven't brushed my teeth. So I'm pleased to report that habit is back, and fresh breath is back. And yes, funny how severe changes in environment can affect rhythms of things. So yeah, teeth brushing is back. Another little ablutions update. So as I've discussed before, and I'll skim over this quickly, but you only do number 1s on board. Number 2s back at the pro facilities behind me. And there's been a bit of a development. I had noticed that some filthy sailors do absolutely destroy those toilets some days, and I do feel sorry for the cleaner. Lo and behold, the cleaner had spotted this too, and there are signs on the door, and yes, they inform us of the situation that has been recognised, and ask us to, if we find them in a bad state, to ring up the marina office and inform the marina so that A, someone can come and clean them, and B, we can look on the CCTV and find out who left them in that state. Actually, I got a picture on my phone of the sign. Points 1 and 2. And then it's funny. So the organisation has an icon, has a logo, which is a lighthouse. And it says on this lighthouse picture, we're always looking out for you. Now, in the context of boating and, it's nice. It's nice. But if you think about them going through the CCTV and the context, you could read it very differently. We're always looking out for you. Yeah, so at first I thought, great, yeah, I'm well brought up. I, clean up after myself. And, leave them as you would like to find them, all that good stuff. And then I thought, oh God, you're going to have to, after you've gone in, you're going to have to ring up and go, yeah, number 2 is in a right state. Sorry, chaps. Oh, by the way, I'm James. So when you check the CCTV back and I go in, yes, no, I couldn't do that. I'm not fast in there. I take a book in. It's my friends tease me about this. It could be 15 to 40 minutes, just depending how good the book is, and just what's going on, the state of play. So I thought, no, I can't. I'm not ringing them. It doesn't. They can be whatever state. And then 3 or 4 weeks went by of mayhem being left in the public latrines, and I thought, do you know what? Poor cleaner. I'll give him a call. So put him a call, and said, sorry about this, but just to let you know, the number 1 and 3 stalls that you got to send the cleaner in. And he goes, okay, thanks for letting me know. Hung up. I did not even get to leave my name or let them know who it was. He was so abrupt, I felt I was too embarrassed to ring back and go, oh, just can you just make a little note if you are going to check the CCTV? My name. Thank you. No, yeah. So I don't know if I've been blacklisted or, but the time will have been locked. And I came out of the toilets the other day with my little screenplay book underarm. I heard this wet slap on the floor behind me. I turned around, in slow motion of course, and there was the cleaner. And he was looking at me over the handle of his mop, and he smiled. And he's like, all right. And there's a thing called subtext in writing. And there was a smile and a friendly enough look, but you can tell behind the eyes he was saying, all right, as in, are you okay? But the subtext was, I've got my eyes on you, newbie. I obviously said hello back and smiled, and I gave him my best smile. And my subtext, I was trying to communicate as much as possible. Hi. Nice smile. And in that smile, I was hoping he was getting the subtext of, I was always brought up to use the toilet brush, and it wasn't me, and they didn't leave my name, and please, it wasn't me. I don't know if I've communicated that correctly. It was a lot to communicate in subtext under hello, but we'll see. But I'll let you know when I next see him, and how he reacts to me. other boat updates. Went sailing again, part 2, take 2. My friend came down, my friend Potsy, and we have certain aspirations to achieve certain trips this year, with this little eye on potentially doing a multi-day trip down to West Wales. So we thought, right, if we're going to get to West Wales, we better start learning how to sail. And lovely weather over the weekend. The wind was a little choppy though, so we did a little bit of research, and apparently we were really excited to go sailing. But we looked at the wind, and apparently the amount we were going out in was enough to capsize small boats. So we went round to the barrage and did a bit of a review of what other sailing boats were out and how many of them had capsized. And they looked fine. And Chris was getting a little bit nervous and was like, oof. But I was adamant we were going sailing on that Saturday. So I went back and texted my brother the knots, the speed and the gust speed. And probably shouldn't take advice from my brother, but because he would go out whatever. He'd go out in a hurricane because it'd be fun. But he was like, oh yeah, plenty of protection in the barrage, in the bay. Don't worry about that. Get out there. So we did. We went out, and we learnt. We learnt the hard way. We floundered. We clambered for ropes and tried to work out the wind and the direction and the sail, and it was there were a few moments we kept the engine on. It was the best decision to keep the engine on. We were never in danger. There was never like any scary moments, but there were a few moments one particular moment where I kind of think we turned the wrong way, and the wind caught the head sail, took it out of Potsy's hands. The rope was flailing around, and we were drifting towards the barrage and getting well within range of viewable distance of people having their strolls along the barrage. And I did start to feel the eyes on me, and I was keeping an eye on the depth gauge as it crept below 10 meters and below. Oh yeah, so it was a bit fun, but Potsy, good old first mate, headed up, got all the ropes in gear. I got on the power, pulled us round back into wind, and we got that head sail back under control. And yeah, we did some tacks. We were tacking into wind. There's essentially a no sail zone, which we both knew of. You can't sail directly into wind, and it's it's between 60 and 90 degrees. I think in the book it says 90 degrees, but you can cut it a little bit finer, especially if you've trimmed the sails, which again we didn't know about on this first little outing. But yeah, we worked it out. We did some good tacks, but it was a very tiring session, and we called it at the right time. Potsy's hands were getting sore from all the rope work. I kept pushing the tiller the wrong way. It was like, prepare to tack ho, and yeah, Potsy wasn't best pleased with that. Essentially fighting the wind and then trying to get back the other way, and already lost all the momentum. So as we limped back with our tiller between our legs, reflecting on the day, we thought maybe it's going to take us a little while longer to learn than we'd first anticipated. The wind, excuse the pun, or excuse the, but it was definitely knocked out of our sails. But we regrouped, beer, pizza. We hit the Sailing for Dummies book, and a couple of beers later we were like, we're going to go back out again tomorrow and we're going to find our rhythm. And we worked out that certain parts of our boats were not as fancy as the ones we'd used on our friends' parents' boats 10 years ago, so we had to kind of work them a little bit differently. They weren't auto gripping. It's the capstans. Capstans, they are these pieces of metal, these twisty-turny pieces of metal that you wrap the rope around, and they can only rotate one way, and then you can ratchet it down. And when we sailed many moons ago, they were self-tightening, self-locking. Well, on this one, you've got one of us, either the person doing the winching your steerer, captain, has to hold on. So we talked tactics over beer, and then we went out and we had a great time. Yeah, really got a rhythm. I got the steering right. Potsy got the rope work right, and we were trimming sails, cutting it fine to the wind. We got so confident that we actually popped the engine off, and we're just under wind power. Complete, novice sailors kind of work in the wind, and it's such a lovely feeling being only powered by the wind. It's the closest thing I've got is probably, I don't know, running, cycling, where you've got, cycling is very efficient, and it's a nice feeling, the speed you can get from such a simple vehicle, but having the wind power you across water, just the wind, that's cool. Free fuel, free-ish. So writing updates, if you follow on Instagram at Fisher Pros, you will have seen quite a few rejections come through this week. Austin and I had entered 4 competitions, and we were awaiting updates from several competitions, and then all in 1 week they all came in. Unfortunately, 3 rejections, and it's a little blow each time. I think especially when there's 0 feedback, it's a little bit like, oh, did they? You've got nothing to go on, so that's quite tough. But the last one that came in, the 4th of the 4-way entries we had out there, was from the BBC and their comedy writers' room that they run each year. And I entered last year, around April time, with my comedy set in Swindon, and unfortunately there was no feedback at all. Crashed out of the first round, you had to assume. And when this email came through, I expected the same. So I opened it up quite casually and thought, okay, yeah, better send Austin a message, and then scan through. And lo and behold, even though we were rejected, we did get through to the second round. Out of 3,500 scripts, second round is top 13%. So really, it's really encouraging. It's the first time since I've been writing where there's been a little bit of something to grip on. There was a long time ago, I put a short story, a little sci-fi, into the competition. I entered a few into it, and always kind of quite flat rejections. And then one came through to the actual editor saying, "Oh, it's not quite for us, James." And I was like, "Oh, it's not quite for us, James." And I was like, "Oh, that feels like it's on the way." But since then, that must have been 6-7 years ago. So it's the first little blip of feedback. So really, yeah, it's exciting. Maybe 3rd round next year. So it's been quite an exciting week and a half. And it got more exciting a couple of days ago when James Threlfall, a friend from Swindon, reached out and said, "Would you like to be on BBC Radio Wiltshire?" I was like, no, I would not. I find it hard enough to record my podcast where I can edit and talk at my own speed. I do not want to. I said yes, because you've got to say yes to these things, haven't you? And yeah, it was terrifying. I had to choose 3 songs, and he was very casual about it. He said, you'll be fine. I was like, no, you do not know how slow I talk on my podcast, and how much time I need to edit out the pauses. I will not be fine. And he goes, yeah, you'll be absolutely fine, honestly. Okay, brilliant. So I felt like I was in trusty hands. Yeah, I was pretty much nervous the entire day leading up to it. Just little nerves, and then like the hour and a half before, it really kicked in. I thought, oh God, I better start just having a little think about what I'm going to say. And I'm terrible when I start telling a story or talking through something. I tell the long version. I think it's because I grew up on Lord of the Rings, so just the epic version. And if I'm telling it quite well, it will go okay, and people might be interested. But 8 times out of 10, it's just too long and rambly. So I was like, right, look, he's going to ask you certain questions about your change from Swindon and Wiltshire over to Cardiff and the boat and writing. And yeah, so I've worked out these little snippets and tried to avoid ums and pauses or trying to be too rude, which is difficult for me sometimes. I do like to swear. I do like to go where people shouldn't go. I think we survived. It's out there. You can find it. 7th of August 2020. There is BBC Radio Wiltshire evening show. James Threlfall. That's a great name, isn't it? That's like a Game of Thrones character. Threlfall. But yes, I'm on there. About an hour and a half in. So yeah, but I don't think it was a car crash. I probably won't listen to it. I've got enough feedback from my family. Oh, Mum piped up on the family WhatsApp. Oh, James, brilliant. You know I'm your biggest supporter. And my harshest critic. I was surprised she didn't have more to say, to be honest. She was all sunshine and rainbows, so I'm pretty sure she is trying to avoid featuring too much on this podcast, and she's failing because it just can't help but go back there. Right, on to a new segment of the podcast. I don't know if I will put this out there. I don't know if the feature will come back, but it's time for dating updates. This could be a mistake. So it's been, I think, 2 months. I haven't been split up long, but I think there's a rough rule of thumb, isn't there? They say that you should wait, take some time out, about 20%, is it 25% of the time that you were with someone. So I was with my ex for a year, coming up to 2 months. I thought I'm just starting to fish again. I haven't gone onto the apps. I'm definitely not ready for kind of getting apps and swiping and all that stuff again. But I'm just starting to fish. Just see if I can just see if I've still got it, because time, TikTok. It's nice to remind yourself how to talk to members of the sex that you fancy. Not the opposite sex, the sex that you fancy. So as you know, I've been quite busy on Instagram, hashtagging away. I'm trying to get into the habit of this social media and getting an update out a day or more if I can on writing and sailing. And as you will know, in Instagram, hashtags are the plumbing. And when you put certain hashtags in, or when you look at content which has certain hashtags, you get presented more of the same content. So for me, with all my sailing and writing hashtags, there are people finding me who are into those. Writers are generally introverts. You don't get much kind of, not loads of follows or action on that front, but sailors are a little bit more extroverted. And I was very excited. When a certain lady responded to my story. I won't go into the details of what she responded, but it was just a throwaway comment. But I thought, oh, okay. Replied in agreement to what she was saying, and then the conversation started, and I was like, oh wow. Popped onto her profile, couldn't see any boyfriends for a couple of years at least, or a year. That's enough. And yeah, fancied her, really fancied her. I was like, wow, okay, cool. And the conversation continued. These little flurries each day, day upon day. And I tried to, keep it cool. Wasn't going flirty. Wasn't trying to. It's just kind of actually genuinely it was quite nice just to kind of connect with someone who's far more advanced in sailing than I am. So and pick her brains. But we connected over a few things. It was kind of like cool. And I dropped a little line in about maybe discussing a certain subject over a beer sometime, and she said, well, as long as that beer's on a boat, in there. I was like, yes, because that was her opportunity to go. I was like, oh my god, brilliant, still got it. And the conversations continued for a couple of days. I thought, brilliant. And then things were changing for her. She was I've got to be careful with the details, I suppose. We've got to come up with a name for this girl. Okay, code names. Okay, we're going to go for Cinnamon Mountain. That's her code name. No, Mountain's not for any appendages. That's not my bag. That's not, that's not on. We're not going to get into that. This is going to be just, dating updates. So Cinnamon Mountain, she was crewing for some friends of hers, and oh my god, I just thought she won't listen to this. You'll find out why she won't listen to this very shortly. And so her plans changed, and I sent a message saying I was sorry to hear things hadn't worked out for you, and good luck picking up your training, heading back home, picking up your training. And I'm gonna pick your sailing brains over that beer at some point. It's been 6 days. Let's check for the official. 5 days? 6 days? I'm not even sure if she's read my message. She usually likes all my messages. She didn't like that one. I've read my message 5 times, 6 times, as you do. There's nothing wrong there. 5 days, ghosted. I've been ghosted before. The problem is, I've been ghosted for my whole life. No, not like... not my whole life. I don't... Not like it's not hasn't. I have had relationships, but the problem is, things just didn't work out in the past. Now there's a label for it. Now they call it ghosting, and you know what it is. So it's like a label for it. It's like being schizophrenic or bipolar or something. Once you got the label, sticks a bit harder. So 5 days. I am not sure what I did wrong, but Cinnamon Mountain is. That ship has sailed by the looks of it. So anyway, you get back on your bike. And I did. I've been building this new routine, in my morning routine. I'd stopped morning exercise for a while because a lot of people do like crazy workouts or heavy runs in the morning. If I do that, entrepreneurs always swear by it, don't they? Do that heavy workout, get the blood pumping and stuff. So my basic morning routine is get up, drink 2 pints of water, and I go for a light cycle, because that's the most. If I do something heavy, if I go for a workout or a run, I feel amazing for about 2 hours. Well, the fridge has kicked in. I'm going to pull it out 1 moment. Oh, you're going to stop now. I have a new fridge. I haven't told you about my new fridge. I spent a long time choosing a fridge because it's a classic thing. I wanted something small, quiet, low power consumption, but if you want all that, then you pay for it. I'm still not sure about the thing yet, but It was bloody expensive. I thought it was going to be like 100 quid. It was not. It was a lot more than 100 quid. But I think it'll be handy. And it's got a 12 volt thing, so I can power it off the cigarette lighter power adapters. Where were we? Oh yeah, cycling. So if I do a heavy workout in the morning, game over. 2 hours later, I feel amazing for a couple of hours, and then I crash hard. It's not good for me. I think it's important with all these gurus, these life gurus, life coaches, and self-development. You've got to just try what they say, test it out. But at the end of the day, everyone is different. You've just got to find what works for you. And for me, loads of water and a light moving, a walk or a cycle, get some fresh air. So I've been doing that, going for a little 20-minute cycle across the barrage and back. And I've got this little thing called 3 things going on. So when I'm doing the cycle, I kind of go halfway point, just breathe deeply, get the air, get moving. And then on the way back, I essentially think about 3 things I'm grateful for. That could be anything from health, or being able to put food on the table every day, or having a roof that only leaks some of the time. And have I used that joke before? I've probably used that joke before, haven't I? In podcast 2 or something. But gratitude's good. And then I go through 3 things that I achieved the day before, and then the top 3 things I'm going to achieve today, and then kind of finish it off with one of my visioning things, where I kind of vision something that will happen in the future, something that's kind of powerful and evocative. So I was doing that this week, just another day doing my little cycle, doing my little morning routine, and I must have been about 2-3 minutes from home, and there's some little speed bumps that kick in, and I went over one and pootling along, and then a second later, oh man, this crack and this yelp and this crack. I turned round and there was a cyclist right behind me, and then behind him some guy he'd hit the deck, and it hard. As I turned around, his bike, like in a movie when there's like some flaming wheel that goes across screen from some exploding car, his bike literally just overtook me and then crossed the road, caused the car to kind of screech to a halt, and then parked itself neatly on some bricks. And I was like, whoa, that sounded heavy. And so I hit the brakes and turned around, and people kind of descended on him, and I was like, oh my god, there was quite a few people, and I was like, right, yeah, am I going to be a spare wheel here? I thought, actually no, I can be useful, go and stop the traffic. So I went back, put my bike down, and just stood there and waved traffic down, while this girl, who we will get to in a moment, was managing all the communications with this guy who was rolling around in agony, clutching his back, and his seat was on the floor next to him, and his helmet was on the floor, and so an incident, and the fridge has just kicked in again. All right, I'm going to pull the fridge out. 1 moment. It's going into hyperdrive. Okay, I'm back. The fridge is out. We have silence. I'm going to have a little drink of tea. Chocolate mint tea. From a shop called Monty's in my hometown of Monmouth. And they deliver. I recommend getting on those. They're fucking fine. So, this guy, so I was keeping an eye. Lots of people came to help, and some of the traffic was hurtling in. So I was doing the Team America wave a lot, the special signal. Please slow the fuck down. Colin, bless him, he'd taken quite a tumble, and unfortunately, it looked like the ambulance was going to take a little while to come. So we were just sitting there, and I kept turning around just to check on, progress with Colin and this girl. And this girl kept checking on me, and then this doctor came along. A guy luckily swept in and got the guy to lie correctly to protect his back, and talked to him and kind of calmed him down, which was great. And then this girl came over to me, and I was like, "Oh, hello. Right. You're pretty. I thought you were." And she said, "Thank you. Thanks so much." And I was like, "No, thank you. Thank you for, handling all the communications." And she updated me that the ambulance was on the way, but it was going to be quite a while. So, was there anywhere I needed to get off to? I was like, "No, that's fine. I'm a writer. I have nowhere to be. Just, yeah." Must have been 9:30 already. This wasn't exactly an early morning start. And it was an excuse to stay around a little bit longer. Okay, we need a code name for this girl and her dog. We're going to go for Lannister Flockhart and Chelsea. That works. So I'm not always I'm not quick in these moments. I'm the guy who, you have a moment with someone, and then you're walking away, or you're 10, 20 meters away, and you're like, oh, Jesus, why didn't I brave and ask her out, and you regret it for the rest of the day? And I thought, not today. I am. And then she walked away, and I was like, fuck, I missed my opportunity. But I thought, it's okay. Colin is still writhing around on the ground. There might be an opportunity still to come. I thought, okay, come on, build up to it. And she looked over and again, and I was like, oh shit, I think she's looking at me as much as I'm looking at her for once. Normally it's always normally I'm always looking more. You know what it's like as men. Normally you're always doing the looking, too much looking. So, and I was like, I think there's something could be on here. And then the fire brigade turned up. The fire brigade, in their fire engine, in their firemen's outfits, their uniforms, and with their muscles and their hose pipes and their cones. So the human traffic cone, was no longer needed. One of the firemen made that joke. Thanks, mate. God, he was so handsome as well. He was so bloody handsome. Like, these dark locks. At least 10 years younger than I was. Yeah, strapping chap. Nice as well. Anyway, so he put the cones out, and he's like, should be right here, mate. Now, mate. All right, yeah. And there was Lannister Flockhart, kind of, saying her farewells to Colin. And then I thought she was going to walk off, but she didn't. She turned around to say goodbye to me, and asked me, did I live in the area? And I was like, oh my God, right, James. If you do not ask this girl out in this moment, you're an idiot. And then she went on to say, oh well, there's I live up. So I might bump into you in the local pub. I was like, what? Yes. And then I caught up and I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is appropriate, but do you fancy going for a drink sometime? She goes, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll bump into each other in the local pub. Denied. So I thought, yeah, maybe the number switch wasn't on, the number swap. So left Colin on the ground in the capable hands of the fireman, and left Lannister Flockhart behind too, and went back and thought, did I do anything wrong there? Did I do anything wrong? It could be 101 things, couldn't it? You don't know what's going on in their world. you don't know what your hair looks like. And I did. I went round to the mirror to have a quick look. I thought, oh, just, have a quick check. And I had slept well, and I had slept really well, and just got straight on the bike. I don't really. That's funny thing. I am quite vain. I'm barely looking at myself, and I probably should have looked at myself before I went out in the mirror, because my eyes were just sleep encrusted all over. So no wonder she was looking at me from the 5 meter range, with Colin writhing around. Poor old Colin. Hope he's okay. I would like an update on poor Colin. My God, I think he's got a prolapsed dick. No, not a dick. A prolapsed disc. Oh, mate. Oh, God. Prolapsed disc. That's my bet. Prolapsed disc. So maybe if I ever, bump into Lannister again, I can ask her. Because she did give her number to Colin. Not me, but Colin got the number. Bastard. So yeah. So she was fine from that range, but when she got close, good from afar, but far from good, because James here had sleep all in his bloody eyes. So yeah, new morning routine. Check your eyes. Just get the sleep out of my eyes before I get onto the bike, because you'd never know who's going to crash, who's going to get run over, who's going to need a human traffic cone to help out. So yeah, so that's dating updates. The code names, and maybe our paths will cross again someday. But for now, it's been a week of rejections on every front. But there you go. That's the way life goes, and maybe it's a little bit too soon anyway. It's going to be an interesting week ahead, because I'm going to clean the boat this week. I'm going to clean the boat. It is a disgrace. No, it's not a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It needs some love. It's like not bad on the inside, but the outside is filthy. And I'm going to continue work on my new piece of writing, which is the first screenplay, obviously, of the 5 that I'm going to write this year, that I promised you and myself. And it's a dystopian tale. So we're moving away from comedy. That didn't work out so well. We're another TV pilot. I got a competition on the 3rd of September, beginning of September anyway, so it's less than a month away, and I'm gonna meet that deadline. I've got to prepare a Bible for it and some artwork and all sorts of stuff. I'll get the story done first, but I think I might finish the first draft next week. So yeah, really excited about that. It's ticking over. Things are moving. So yeah, that is it. That is the updates for this week, episode 4. Thank you for joining me for this episode, and I hope you have a lovely week. And it just leaves to say, good night, sailors.